Welcome to my chaotic yet peaceful channel. In January, I posted my macaron candle making video, and in it I briefly showed a pasta bake I made. Kyalina and Emily left these comments, and a couple of people liked it as well, so they obviously wanted to see a recipe for this. And I know I'm very late, and I have no idea if those people even watch my channel anymore, but hey, better late than never. So here is my easy pasta bake recipe. You will need 2 to 300 grams of pasta, of course, 4 to 500 grams of milk, 2 to 3 cups of shredded cheese. I used mozzarella, but you can add some cheddar as well if you wish, 50 grams of unsalted butter, a little bit of flour, seasoning so your food doesn't turn out boring, and I add spinach, mushrooms, and smoked chicken ham. With the mushrooms, I boil them and freeze some so that they're ready to use for later. I just take them out of the freezer, plop them in some water, and then use a paper towel to squeeze out all the excess water before adding them to my dish. So the first thing you want to do is boil your pasta. I decided not to salt my water because there's enough salt in this recipe already with all the cheese and ham that I'm adding. Make sure when you dunk in your pasta, you spill some and almost burn your finger on the stove, or else it won't work. While that's happening, shred your cheese. Now you may think that this is a waste of time, since you can buy pre-shredded cheese, but I promise you that it's not. When you buy shredded cheese, it usually contains anti-caking agents, and this gives your cheese a powdery and gritty texture after you melt it and put it in the fridge for later. Trust me, I tried, and it's not the same as shredding your own cheese. Cheese graters like this are not that expensive nowadays, and they make your cooking so much easier, so I highly recommend getting one if you can. Also make sure to spill some of the cheese. So by now your boiling pasta should look like this. As I have said before, if you know me, I like living life on the edge while I cook. So this is the standard for me, for my pot to almost spill over onto the stove every single time. Make sure you strain your water. I don't believe in pasta water. I don't care how everyone says you can use your pasta water. It's gross, nasty, starchy water, so why would it be useful? Now for the sauce, add your butter at a medium heat. And once that starts to boil, add in your milk. Make sure you don't burn your butter. If you think you burned your butter, just remove it and start again. After you add the milk, just stir from time to time. And also let it bubble and boil really well for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then my trick to thickening the sauce without getting chunks of flour in it is that I add a few tablespoons of flour to the separate bowl, and then I mix that really well with a little bit of water, and then I add that mixture into the pot while stirring, and this just helps thicken the sauce slightly. Next, add in your seasoning. I use pepper, Italian herbs, and a very little bit of salt and some chili flakes. Let that boil for a few more minutes so that the taste gets absorbed into the sauce. Lastly, reduce your heat a little and add in the cheese. Your sauce will really begin to thicken once you add in this cheese, so this is the kind of consistency that you want to have. If you added too much cheese or too much flour, it will be slightly too thick. The taste will be fine, but you won't have a lot of runny, gooey sauce. Not adding enough milk at the beginning is also a mistake I used to make, and my sauce would always turn out too thick. But if you want a runny sauce, just use a lot of milk and a little bit of cheese. Now take the pan off the heat and add in your toppings. You can also add some other things you like, but these are what I usually add. The smoked chicken ham really gives it a great flavor, I think, and you can choose to cook the toppings a bit in your sauce, but everything I had was already mostly cooked or would cook in the oven, so I didn't bother cooking them more on the stove. Add in your pasta as well, and then transfer it to a baking dish. I use a glass one, but you can probably use anything you have. Just use baking paper if you think it will stick. I preheat my oven to about 180 degrees Celsius. All the numbers are rubbed out. Anyway, make sure you stick your hand in the oven to check the temperature since you don't have an oven thermometer yet, because you ain't that fancy. I'm just kidding, don't do that. So I bake it for about 20 minutes, but you can go for as long as 30 minutes. And you can add more cheese or breadcrumbs on the top. I just decided to be healthier this time and add less cheese. But of course, adding the cheese on top usually makes it better because you can never have enough cheese, am I right? And this is what it looks like straight out of the oven. It forms a nice little crust on top. And then just throw it on a nice little plate. Add a drink of your choice. Today I chose sparkling water, but sparkling wine would have been nicer. And I also added some blueberries to my sparkling water. I've been working on this meal for 2 whole hours, so it better be good. Right, let's dig in, shall we? Ooh, it's still hot. Okay, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but I think this is the best pasta bake I've ever made. And then you sit and eat alone while a camera is filming you. I'm just kidding. Anyway, it turned out really good. I think I have the sauce pretty nailed down. I'm not a chef and I actually don't particularly enjoy cooking, but I can make a few things, and if I can do it, you can do it. If you stayed all the way till the end, comment blueberries. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos if you have the time. I truly appreciate it. My socials are linked down below, and I will see you next time. You know.